Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me for this episode 4 of Taking the Mystery Out of Therapy. My name is Abigail Barbanel, and I've been a psychotherapist for almost 26 years. This episode I call How to Integrate. This is where I will show you the exact exercise. I will take you through the exact exercise that helps us to integrate our limbic system with our prefrontal cortex. In the previous episode, I mentioned how the two brains are not naturally well connected, which enables then the limbic brain to take over and shut down our prefrontal functions every time it feels under threat. This is not a good way to live because it means that we can't function as adults in our modern complex world if we don't have the most important bit of kit in the brain in charge. This part of the brain regulates everything in the brain. It regulates our emotions and our behavior, but everything else, also including the whole of the body. So when this is out of commission, if this is shut down, we're at the mercy of our impulsive, reactive brain, whose job is basically just to help us survive an immediate threat. It is a reactive brain that acts according to what's pre-wired in it from our experience. It's a fear-based brain. It is not the brain we can use to plan ahead or to think clearly or to do anything grown up for that matter. So better integration is absolutely necessary because it prevents the limbic brain from taking over. The more integrated we are vertically, this is called vertical integration, the less possible it is for the limbic brain to take over. So that means that even under stress, under threat, the limbic brain will act more as the safety officer of the brain, which will then report to the captain of the brain, if you like, that there is a threat, but the decision making and the thinking will be done from here. And that feels completely different to how most people feel in their life. This should happen. We are not born integrated. We're born with a potential for integration. And parents have to handle their children's emotions, which are basically just information from the child's limbic brain, in a very particular way. And if they do that, the child can grow up as what one of my clients once called it, human Mark II. And if that wasn't available in childhood, the good news is we can do it in therapy all through life. I have clients of all ages, and they all achieve that. That's not impossible at all, provided people have a functional prefrontal cortex and decent neuroplasticity. That should be possible. I also mentioned that alcohol is a bad idea, and that I make it a condition of seeing me that people are completely abstain from alcohol, because alcohol disables this. And this is the biggest, the most important bit of brain that we actually need in therapy. In therapy, we're not messing with the limbic brain so much. It suffered enough. We don't need to do anything to it. What we're doing is training that. If parents did their job right, then the parents in a way would model the child, they would model their own brain on the child the other way around. The child's brain, sorry, will be modeled on the parent's prefrontal cortex, and it will know what to do. It will already be connected. The child will be growing up as a very different kind of human than the human beings that we've been so far. Humanity has amazing potential, and this is a key to it, to fulfilling it. I wanted to mention a couple of things. One is that the most common reason that causes people to seek psychotherapy is that something happens in their life, a normal life event of some kind, and as a result of not having enough integration, they find themselves unable to cope with whatever it is that's going on. So they feel like they're in complete crisis, they're overwhelmed. The event that happened could be anything. Life throws stuff at us all the time. But whatever level of development the person has already got, as in vertical integration, it's no longer enough for them to cope or manage this new event. So when they come to therapy, they find out that they're not actually stupid and they're not failures. They just don't have enough integration in order to manage that event. And it's very important for me to talk about the difference, and I did mention that before, the difference between coping and living. Coping is meant for short term, and most people are coping in their life somehow. Thank you very much. They don't need therapists to tell them how to cope better. Coping is what everybody does, but it's supposed to be short term. And coping isn't life. Life is a full life, is a life where we are not just coping, but we are growing through whatever it is that's happening to us. And as people integrate more and more, they begin to realize that when something happens and they feel triggered, for example, that's just a signal that they're not integrated enough in that particular context. So they just have more integration to do, and it's not a big deal, and they can do that. So today I'd like to show you exactly how to do this. And I believe that the vast majority of people should be able to do that and get a lot of the results that my clients are getting. And as I said before, all these podcasts will be always for free, available for free. I'm not going to monetize anything. Somebody wrote me an email and asked me about the bookmark that I shared in the previous episode, where I asked people to kind of dabble with it before this episode. And I forgot to mention, because as I said to you, I'm new to this podcasting and thing, and I forgot to mention that all the resources that I will be using in this podcast series are all available actually on my website for free. And you just need to go to my website to under resources, and you will find it all there. And so let me just share the screen with you. I'll show you where to go on my website, and you'll be able to have a look at it in your own time, and then download whatever you want from there. So this is my website, fullyhuman.co.uk, and the page where all the resources are is this one, client and public resources, and this is the bookmark there. It happens to be the top one, and you can just click on it, and there's a link to download the bookmark. You feel free to download as many times as you like, print it, share it, do whatever you want. It's all free. And there's no limitation on how much you can share it or how many times you can download it. And the same goes for all the resources. You're also very welcome to share all these podcasts with anybody you like, if you feel that there is whether they could use it, and if there's value in it for you and for them. So I'd like to try and do the exercise with you and see how we go. And I would like to ask you to position yourself, or sit or lie down. Make yourself really, really, really comfortable. Make sure you are very comfortable in your seat or lying down, that no part of your body is pinching or hurting or is uncomfortable. So take a moment to make yourself comfortable. Nothing lower back, feet, shoulders, neck, everything has to be really, really comfortable. There's no point sitting in an uncomfortable position where bits of your body are hurting or pinching or struggling, because the moment that happens, your limbic brain is going to be triggered, and because it thinks that something is wrong. And so there's no point in that. The whole point of this is that you have to be really, really, really comfortable. If you're going to lie down, make sure you've got a cushion underneath your head, and maybe under your knees as well. And make sure you have even a blanket on, because if you lie down for any length of time without movement, it can get a bit cold. So just make sure, take a moment, settle down, make yourself comfortable. And when you're comfortable, when you feel that you're ready, I'd like you to cast your eyes to the farthest spot in the space that you're in, and just find that spot and move your eyes in that direction. And then next, I'd like you to take your gaze and move it to the center of the space somewhere. And then move your eyes roughly to about reading distance. At this point, if you're comfortable, close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, you can just keep them down looking, downcast. And now I'd like you to take all of your awareness and place it at the nostrils. All of your awareness at the nostrils. And take note just try to notice how it feels at the nostrils when the air that you breathe comes in through the nostrils and comes out of the nostrils. What does it feel like? Just notice that sensation, that subtle sensation of the air coming in through your nostrils and out through your nostrils. This isn't an exercise in breathing, it's an exercise in awareness. So just place all of your awareness gently and just notice everything that you notice. When you breathe in, you might notice that the air is slightly cool at the edges of your nostrils. And when you breathe out, you might notice that it feels a little bit moister and warmer. Just spend another moment, a few more moments with the awareness at the nostrils and take your time. And now I'd like you to move your awareness to the chest. Notice how the chest expands when you breathe in and how it contracts when you breathe out. Just let your awareness gently hover over the chest, in the chest, and notice how it feels when the air expands your chest a little bit and how your chest contracts a little bit when the air comes out. Expands with the in-breath, contracts with the out-breath. And now take your awareness and place it at the abdomen. Notice how it feels when you breathe in, how the abdomen expands a little bit with the in-breath and how it contracts a little bit with the out-breath. Expands with the in-breath, contracts with the out-breath. Now join these 3 points of awareness together into one line. Abdomen, chest, nostrils. Nostrils, chest, abdomen. One line of awareness focused on 3 points. Abdomen, chest, nostrils. Nostrils, chest, abdomen. Take a moment. Observe these 3 points of awareness. Now, in one of your next inhalations, I'd like you to breathe all the way from your nostrils up into your forehead. Imagine that you can fill your forehead with air, with breath. Place all your awareness at the forehead and notice what it's like when you fill your forehead with air. What does it feel like? Allow your awareness to hover at the forehead as you fill it with air and experience what that's like for you. We're not looking for anything in particular. When we put our awareness with the breath in the forehead, everyone experiences it a little bit differently. Some people see colors, some people see images, some people see light, some people have physical sensations, and some people can even have sound. So we're not looking for anything in particular. All I'm asking you to do is place your awareness at the forehead, breathe your breath into the forehead, and allow your awareness to hover gently in that area and explore it, and take your time with it. Explore. We're not looking for anything in particular. Just allow whatever emerges to emerge and just let it happen. Take your moment, take your time, take a moment. We're not in any rush. When we breathe in with the focus on the forehead, we're making the neurons in the prefrontal cortex fire. They discovered it in studies they did on Buddhist monks whom they put through MRI machines and asked them to do breathing and meditation, and they realized that that activates the neurons in the prefrontal cortex. So that's why we're focusing on the forehead. We're breathing with awareness and we're noticing everything that happens. If you were sitting in front of me in my office, I would now ask you to describe to me what it is that you're experiencing. But because this is a podcast, I'm just asking you to take note of it yourself. Tell yourself, notice what it is that it's like for you when you breathe into the forehead with awareness. What do you notice? Take a moment with that, spend a little bit of time with that, get familiar with the experience of breathing into the forehead, the sensations or the images or the light or anything that brings in. For some people, there may not be anything at all. That's okay too. Just persevere with that. We're not looking for anything in particular, just awareness and breath in the forehead. In a little while, I'm going to also ask you to now turn your awareness also inward. So your awareness is capable of staying at the front of the head with the breath at the front of the head, maintaining its presence there with whatever it is that emerges there. And at the same time, can also notice what message is your limbic brain giving you. And what I mean by that is what does it feel? What feelings do you notice that you have? Anything, any feeling at all. Sometimes there are little thoughts. For example, some people might say, I'm not so good at it. I'm not so sure I'm doing it right. Why am I doing this? So these are thoughts that come from also from the limbic brain, because behind them there are feelings. There are feelings maybe of doubt. Maybe people feel silly about this. Or maybe it feels good. It can feel good as well. So, but whatever the feeling is, be aware of it, notice it. And now comes the real exercise. As soon as you notice something coming from the limbic brain, whatever that feeling is, I would like you to tell the limbic brain, it's okay for you to feel like this. If your limbic brain happens to feel a bit relaxed, then you can say, it's okay to feel relaxed. If the limbic brain is uncomfortable, maybe sad, maybe triggered by something, you tell yourself it's okay to feel that too. So the message we're giving to our limbic brain is that everything that it feels, everything that it experiences is okay. Every time we do this, every time we focus on our prefrontal cortex, and from there, we tell the limbic brain that everything it feels is okay, basically what we're doing is we're opening pathways between the two brains. We're enabling information to flow from the limbic brain uninterrupted to the prefrontal cortex. The more we practice it, the brain will then respond by creating better connections. So every time you validate your feelings, whatever they might be, you're creating connectivity between the two brains. So this is not an exercise in relaxation. Some people feel a bit relaxed in the beginning when they do this, but then a few seconds later, they start to feel other things. The limbic brain works 24/7. It never stops telling you something. All of the stuff that it tells you, all of it needs to be validated. Validation is just a fancy word that simply means we're opening communication between the two brains. We're willing to create neural pathways between these two brains. This is how it works. So every time you validate, your brain responds by creating better connectivity between the two brains. The more you validate, the more connectivity you create. What I'm going to ask you to do, if you still have your eyes closed, is very, very, very slowly to open your eyes and to do the same thing. Attention at the front of the head, at the forehead, and attention to the limbic brain, and validate every feeling you have. A lot of people don't necessarily know how to name their feelings, and I'd like to tell you that it doesn't actually matter. Even people who don't know what their feelings are feeling something. So it's really good to say to yourself, if you don't know what the feeling is, you could say, whatever it is you're feeling is okay. Some people experience feelings first in the body before they know what they feel. I used to be like that. So if that's the case and you feel some tension somewhere in your body, try to validate that too. Don't interrogate yourself. Just say, I can feel that you're a bit tense in the shoulder. It's okay to feel tense in the shoulder. It's okay to feel tense in the neck. It's okay to feel a bit fidgety. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel relaxed. It's okay to feel calm. It's okay to feel doubt. It's okay to feel stupid. It's okay to worry about this. It's okay to feel anxious. Basically, the idea is that all the feelings we have are information from the limbic brain, and they all need to be validated because we want all that information to flow freely to the prefrontal cortex, and for the prefrontal cortex to be in charge and to welcome those feelings. Now, words like welcome and validation, they are the airy-fairy words of therapy. The reality underneath it is that every time you validate, you create connectivity between the brains. The interesting thing about connectivity is that the brain grows exponentially. It does not grow one neuron at a time. It grows like one of my clients told me. She studied mycology. That's the study of mushrooms. She says that neurons in the brain actually look like mycelium. And if those of you, if you don't know what mycelium is, look it up. It's what mushrooms come from. It's under the ground. It's under our feet. And neurons really look like that. And this stuff grows exponentially. That means that the more you validate, the more you create connections. The more connections you create, the faster you also integrate. So this grows not one thing at a time, but it mushrooms like basically like mycelium. The reason I asked you to open your eyes and keep doing the same exercise with your eyes open is because we live life with our eyes open. We don't go around with our eyes closed. And the idea is that you don't need to be in a special place or do anything special in order to do this. You have your brain with you everywhere you go. You have your feelings with you everywhere you go. So if you can get into the habit of breathing to the forehead and validating all your feelings all through the day, no matter what you're doing, you're going to achieve results and you're going to achieve them fairly quickly. There are no feelings that are not okay. Now, if you struggle, if you think, oh my God, that's difficult, or oh God, another chore, another thing I have to do, that's actually not your prefrontal cortex talking. That's still your limbic brain that thinks it needs to do this. And what I'd like to tell you is tell your limbic brain it's not its job. Your limbic brain cannot integrate itself. It needs to connect to that. And that you will find that when you go up here, you actually feel really, really comfortable in your skin. You feel very grounded. And you actually don't feel much at all. And you'll find that it's very easy to validate your own emotions if you're here. If it feels difficult, then you're not here. So it's worth taking a little bit more time to breathe up here and to be sure that you're there, and then to do the validation work. Now, for those of you who might find the whole breathing thing a bit awkward or it's not your thing, that's okay too. What I ask people to do when they find this a bit, it's not for them, is to think of a role that they play in their life where they are really in their element, where they're really comfortable in their own skin, they're grounded, they know what they're doing. Maybe it's with your grandchildren, maybe you're a teacher, and when you're having a particularly good day with your class, when you know you're fully present, maybe you're a nurse, maybe maybe you're a pilot, whatever it is that you're doing, when you know you're fully present and you're comfortable in your own skin and you feel like you inhabit yourself and the role that you're in, that's when you're in your prefrontal cortex. So I often would tell clients who are more comfortable with that to say, go back into grandmother mode, go back into teacher mode, go into doctor mode. So that's where they're here. So if that works better for you, give that a try, because there's no reason you shouldn't do it in whatever way works for you. This exercise I gave you in the beginning of looking to the distance and then the middle and then close, you don't have to do it every time. If you want to do it, go knock yourself out, but you don't have to. The most important thing is to learn how to breathe up here and validate. Give that a try and see how you go. Remember, the process isn't intended to relax you. Some people relax, but that's not our goal. Our goal is long-term and robust change of architecture in the brain, which is associated with robust psychology and with lifelong growth and development. Now, I'd like to recommend that when you interact with other people, in any shape or form, it could be anywhere, it could be anyone, it can be a person, a shop assistant, it could be something very brief, or it can be somebody important in your life. And especially with young people and children, in any capacity where you interact with them, I will ask you now, from now on, that whatever they tell you, the first thing that needs to come out of your mouth is validation of their emotions. Children and young people communicate and learn. These are the two things that they do the most. They don't always let you know, they don't always know what they feel, or they don't always name what they feel, but their behavior will communicate something. You need to be up here, and you need to tell the child or the young person or whoever you're talking to, do you know what? Whatever it is you're feeling is okay. And the interesting thing is, you don't have to know, because you're not a mind reader. You can't be expected to know what other people feel. We can guess sometimes, but it's not important. What's important is to validate them. So, you know what? Whatever it is you're feeling, it's okay to feel that. And see what happens. See what happens with the body language. See what happens when you tell that to a child. Even children as young as a few months old, certainly from 18 months older, the moment you validate their emotions, that is actually what they want to hear. Now, before I go for today, there's one more thing I wanted to say. There is a little thing that I do when I do training for therapists. I write a little script, and it's a bit silly, but it's kind of based on this woman who works really, really, really hard to finish a report for her boss, and she works all weekend and she sacrifices time with her family in order to please the boss and give her the report a day early, let's say. And when she comes to the boss and she gives her the report, all she gets is criticism and nastiness, and it's absolutely awful. And so she's completely beside herself with anger and disappointment and hurt. And she's got good friend number one and good friend number two. And I instruct good friend number one to say something along the lines. I give people scripts, little scripts, and the good friend number one says to the woman, look, what's the point? Don't bother being angry. She's not worth it. Tell you what, let me take you out for a walk, and then we'll go and have a cup of coffee and you'll feel better. So that's friend number one, good friend number one, who obviously cares, but that's what good friend number one says. Good friend number two says, you know what? Of course you're going to feel angry. Of course you're going to feel disappointed. What else are you going to feel? They're absolutely right to feel the way you do. And then I asked the audience, I said, and the person who played the woman, which one felt better? And without fail, everybody says good friend number two. And then they all say, hey, but good friend number one is good too. And I said, yeah, that's why it's called good friend. Good friend number one isn't a bad person. They're trying to be a good friend. So they're telling the woman, oh, come on, don't worry about it. Don't feel like that. But we really need to hear that what we're feeling is okay. And everybody realizes from experience. And if you really think about your own life and your own experience, you'll see that you feel really good when somebody validates you, rather than when somebody tells you, oh, don't feel like that, or worse, dismisses you, or don't be silly. Or we feel really, really horrible, because when we're not validated, we are not helped to develop. When we're validated, it helps us develop. Children in particular get quite disappointed and angry, and they get particularly angry in adolescence when people don't validate their emotions. So I'll stop here, because I'm going to do a lot more on children and young people, on trauma and anxiety, and a lot of topics that I cover in my books, which are they are not free, but if you wanted to look at them as references, you're very welcome. So thank you for joining me today. Remember that everything you feel is valid and it's okay to feel it. Please practice. Please validate all your feelings and validate everybody around you, your partners, your friends, your co-workers, your children, everybody that you come in contact with, and see how you go. And perhaps if you want to write comments, if you tried it and you have any questions or you have any comments, please use the comment sections on all 3 platforms where these videos are going to are published, which is Substack and Spotify and YouTube. And I will do my best to respond as much as I can. And I'm also hoping that some of the comments will lead to more discussions and more opportunities to do more podcasts on topics that are interesting to people. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you next time. And happy integration. Bye.